All right, all right. What's going on, friends and family? Thank you guys so much for tuning into Every Day is a Saturday with your host, me, myself, and I, Brian Roof. Hey guys, welcome to another show. This is going to be episode 19, Coaching and Playing Football. If you hadn't had the chance to go check out the last episode, 18, it was Adjusting to Life After the Marines. It kind of gets you a little bit of a better understanding of some things. I'm going to kind of dive, a little bit back into when I was coaching and playing football at the same time as trying to be a dad, juggle my married life. I was working. There's just so much that was going on at that time. So I just thought I would kind of spend a little bit of time on that. And, I thought you guys might enjoy some of that and hear some of my heartaches and stuff that I really went through. But anyhow, I hope you guys have been enjoying the show. There's been some really great interviews. If you hadn't had the chance and checking some of those out, go back and check them out. I've done 10 interviews now. My last one that I did was with Sean Laurie, interview 10. That guy is a amazing guy. He's an Army veteran. He did 2 combat tours over in Afghanistan, got hurt on the second one. It led to him getting out of the Army, and then it led to him having some addiction and having to pull his way out of addiction. And now he's a major advocate for the veteran community, not only just for the veteran community, but, people in general. And he's just a really great guy. So if you haven't had a chance to check that episode out, go check it out. And there's a lot of other great episodes before that as well. So like I said, if you haven't had a chance to check out any of the interviews, go check them out. But anyways, guys, without further ado, I want you guys to check out this little message from my buddy over at renovet.org. Check him out.
My name is Jason Rhodes. I've been the owner of a successful remodeling company for 3 years. I've dedicated 85% of the profit from that business to remodeling homes for disabled veterans and first responders completely for free. I have created a nonprofit 501c3 to assist in continuing this work. I am on a mission to bring awareness to the need and to raise money by walking 1,400 miles from Sanford, North Carolina to Austin, Texas. Please visit renovet.org to learn how you can help. That's renovet.org.
All right, friends and fam. We're going to go ahead and get into today's episode. That's episode 19, Coaching and Playing Football. All right, so if you guys tuned into the last episode, I kind of touched and kind of glossed over when I was coaching at my old high school that I went to, and I also was playing semi-pro football. So I'm going to kind of dive a little bit, more into that because that was a big part of my life, and that was kind of one of the, big first things that I kind of was doing when I was trying to get out of the Marine Corps. And, I think I was really just trying to keep my mind busy, and football was just a big therapeutic outlet for me. I can go hit someone and take out a lot of my anger on people without any, without getting in trouble. So football has always been appealing to me. I love, I just love the sport itself and the camaraderie that it builds up. And there's a little discipline in there. And like I said, just being able to go out there and boom, pop some people and let out a little bit of some aggressions from time to time. But anyways, when I was at the gym one day, I had ran into an old coach that was my coach back in, youth football days. And he was running the freshman program over at the high school, Highland High School, the same high school I went to. So, one, here's my old coach. That's already a plus. 2, he's coaching at my old high school. And then 3, he's like, hey, are you, do you got anything really going on? You want to coach? And I'm just like, man, I would love to coach. I would love to, get back involved in football. I've always loved football. And I remember, my last game in high school. We made it all the way to like the second round or something like that. No, sorry. I think we made it all the way down to like the semifinal, to the playoffs. And we ended up losing that game, and I cried. I cried because, man, I just, I had that gut feeling like, man, I'm probably never going to play again. I knew I had a chance to go. I had some like very little small colleges looking at me, but I just didn't really have an urge to, look at them. But man, I was just so somber at my last high school game. And so, getting the chance to go back and coach and just be a part of the game again, I was just actually, thrilled that I got the opportunity and to be also, kind of led under coaches that coached me. And, so now I'm kind of getting mentored by the guys that coached me and that I looked up to when I was young. So I jumped all over that opportunity. I thought it was a great opportunity. And then what he basically said is that there's in the freshman level at that high school, and actually at all the local high schools, I'm not sure if they do it anymore because the high schools are starting. There's so many of them that I'm sure the kids are kind of spread thin. But they used to have an A and a B squad, and that's just to kind of give kids that are kind of newer, that maybe haven't played or something like that, a opportunity to actually go and play and so that way they're not missing out all the time. And because once you get into high school, it's not like you're guaranteed to play. As you are like in the youth sports like that, you paid for your kid to play, you're guaranteed for him to play and stuff like that. But when it comes to high school football and other sports like that in general, you're not guaranteed a spot. So, dividing it up, and especially if there's a lot of kids coming out, it just gives those other kids that are kind of new the opportunity to learn. So when they all go up to JV, they're more at a, kind of more at a level playing field, so to speak. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's always a bonus in learning and playing earlier. Trust me. But so the opportunity to be a head coach of the B team, I was like, wow, here's my first year being thrown right into like a head coach position. And I'm like, all right, man, that'd be awesome. So it's not like I kind of just was like out on my own, so a lot of times the practices were all together. But he also let me bring on, some of my own coaches. So what I did is I brought on a good buddy of mine that I played high school with, my buddy E House. He definitely was very happy to have him as a coach. He kind of dealt with the defense, and I dealt with the offense. Is the way we kind of worked it, and I thought it worked great. And having a whole bunch of kids that never played before, I thought the two of us really, put those kids in a great position and started. They even got to the level like our B squad. We had these kids playing so well that the A team kept trying to pick from them, and you kind of get kind of territorial. But the whole goal is for those guys to get up to the A squad. So it's kind of a bittersweet type of thing when they start pulling from them, from your squad and start plucking up some of them guys. You're like, man, but you're also happy for them because you're like, see, dude, you did it, and they're seeing it, and so it kind of gives you a little bit of pride, like and like I said, you're like the competitive side in you is like, oh man, he's gone, but like I said, it's you're happy to see the kids progress, and as a coach you're doing the right thing and you're getting these kids to learn, because that's the whole goal at that level, at the B level, is to kind of teach those kids the very basics of the game and then let them hone in on their own skills and things of that nature. So, but we mimicked everything that the A team did. We did a lot of practices together, but they also allowed us to kind of, do our own thing, because the B games were typically on Wednesdays and the A teams were on Thursdays. So, and sometimes some of the B kids got to go dress up and go to the A games and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. But I got to say, I did kind of run into a situation where there was a coach that they had basically, I didn't know the guy, but they had recommended him, and we're basically like, hey, he needs, I would say it was kind of forced upon me to take him in as a coach. Um, but I didn't really know the guy, but he, well, actually, sorry, I'm getting way ahead of the game. That's later the next year. I coached 2 years. The second year is when I ran into some crazy stuff. I'll get back into that. Anyways, back to when I was coaching up the B team. Now, while I was coaching, I had found out there was a local semi-pro football team, and I was super interested because, man, I don't feel like I had gotten enough from after high school. I did play in the Marine Corps, but it was cut short because of 9/11, and we didn't get to go play. I didn't get to play my whole 4 years. So I guess that I didn't feel like I got enough out of it. So when I heard there was a semi-pro football team, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, man. Sign me up. So I looked into it, and it was, if you guys know who Patti LaBelle is, she's a famous singer. Well, she had put together a league. It's kind of on the West Coast and on the East Coast. And it's, it's all these different divisions, and they all play against each other, and there's a big Super Bowl type of deal. We even had a huge ceremony for this thing. It was pretty cool. The team was called the AV Dirt Devils. Let me show you my jersey. So you can see the little devil face on there. We were sponsored by Honda, Robertson Honda. That's local to us. And then, it's hard to show on this camera, but I was number 50. So, pretty cool. We didn't put back our last names on them. But it was fun. And interesting, to say the least, because here I am, 23 years old. This was around the year 2004, when I was playing, trying to coach, do all those things. So my day would basically consist of, I had that job in the aerospace industry. I worked at Northrop Grumman. I go to work it was 5 to 3:30, all right? Get out of work from, 3:30, jet over to Highland High School, and then we would start practice roughly about 4:30. So I gave myself a little, and I mean, I want to say it's about a 20-minute drive to the high school from where I work. So I gave myself a little bit of time to reprieve and just, chill out, change over, get myself in my coach stuff. And then I would go to coach from about 4:30 to about 6:30. And then I would head over to semi-pro football. And the practices usually were about 7 to 9 on over there. So, man, I was very busy from, I started work at 5 in the morning, got off 3:30, went over to practice from 4:30 to 6:30, jammed straight over to the semi-pro practice, and practice from 7 to 9. Then drove home, which I had lived 45 minutes away. So it's almost like a whole nother hour. So it's like my days were very packed, jam-packed. So as you can see, I got really busy. And here I am. My wife, she's my wife already at the time. Yeah, she's my wife. She's pregnant, and we're getting ready to have a baby. And, here I am just trying to take on the world. And so it just didn't, that right there didn't, make for a good situation by no means. But anyhow, playing and coaching, it was quite interesting and to say the least, and very um, challenging in the sense that he had to switch it up. You had to go from here you are being a coach, and now you're getting thrown right into being a player again, and at the semi-pro level. And when I say semi-pro, it's not like I'm getting paid now. So don't think, when I'm saying semi-pro, it's free. I'm playing on my own behalf, and there's no contract, there's no money or anything like that. I'm just playing because I really want to play. And here we are, the community. It's a community team type of thing, and we're just trying to put together a cool, great community team and represent the Antelope Valley. But so that's also the other thing too. It's hard to sell that to your wife and stuff when you're not getting paid to do this. And when you're coaching at the high school level, they do what's called a stipend. And stipend is basically it's money from the school, and they just give you one lump sum, and it's not even a lot. I think it was around like $1,500. Now that stipend's got to go amongst all the people that you had help coach as well. So it's not just here's $1,500 for myself. It's like I dispersed it all, and I kept it all even. I didn't want any extra for myself. I didn't care if I was the head coach or whatever. It's just a title. So we definitely made sure it was all even. But so my first year we did really decent, and the B team shined. They didn't get to go like any kind of like playoff type of thing. Once there was only like, I want to say like a handful of games, like 5 games in total. Because when the preseason started, they kind of kept the teams together. And then once league play started, they allowed the B teams to kind of separate and break off. I think there may have been a couple preseason games, but I can't recall too much. But so the first season had a decent season. It was a lot of fun. But I got invited to come back. Now this time, as I'm invited to come back, now my coaches that brought me on, that were the A-team coaches, they got pulled up to the varsity level to go run the offense at the varsity level. And so that left me as the head coach now of the A-team. And so now I'm having to build up my own coaching staff and everything. And this time I get one of my good buddies that I was in the Marine Corps with, and I also got another high school buddy that I played football with. And then this is when I was getting ready to tell this story earlier. Then there's this other coach that was kind of given to me, and he had a couple other coaches that he had brought with him. And I didn't know any of these guys. They were all from the youth football level. And so they kind of knew a lot of the kids that were coming up to the freshman level, and that's kind of why they were trying to stay up on there. But the way that those coaches had came into it is they didn't treat the whole B team thing as though it's a B team. They wanted to take their great kids that they had coached up and that they had spent all the time coaching on. They wanted those kids on the B team. And there was these 2 in particular kids that were really good athletes. I mean, amazing athletes. And they knew it. They had a total chip on their shoulders. I just had real big struggles with that type of personality because I don't like someone thinking that they're better than others and that they don't got to do everything everybody else has got to do because they're, star talent. And now the 2 kids that I'm talking about, they are like really good friends. And so one day, this day is the day I can't take anymore. They're super late to practice, and we're on a pretty good sized field. They got dropped off on the street that has a whole fence. They have to jump over the chain link fence to get in. And then there's a good, I say like good like three three football fields worth of field that they got to walk. Now these dudes are just straight up walking like they got no sense of urgency, and I'm sitting there telling them to get to kind of like run, like, hey, let's go, let's go. Well, they just really start strolling, and just being real lackadaisical. I'm like, hey, let's go, let's go. Here these other kids are, been there on time. They're over doing all these drills, huffing and puffing. They've already done laps and stuff. And here comes these two just strolling on through, man, like they had a cup of coffee or something. But I'm telling them to run, and they just come over, and they're like, and I'm just like, hey, guys, do you guys realize you're late to practice, and you guys are sitting here walking? And they're just like, yeah, so. And they're just, their attitudes are unbelievable. And they're partially having an attitude with me too, because I wasn't their coach. These guys came with those other sets of coaches that I didn't pick. And, but these two guys were superstar caliber, man. I ain't kidding you. But that day was the breaking point for me. They had done already a lot of disrespectful things I didn't even get into. But this one right here was the last of it. They just blatantly were disrespecting me the whole time, disrespecting the whole team, as a matter of fact, and the whole time. So you know what? I went ahead and made an example of those two. I went ahead and said, you know what? You guys are done. I really don't care anymore. Yeah, and they're just looking at me like they're like in shock. Like, no, like what? Like, yeah, you guys have had enough chances. I'm done. I'm not playing this game no more. You guys are not welcome to be on this team. Well, that set up a whole situation with those other set of coaches. Now, basically, there was two other coaches. One guy decided to stay. The other guy was so pissed off about the situation, and he left. And it caused a lot of bad blood between all of us anyway. So just because they thought they were such stars that they shouldn't have been kicked off. And I'm like, bro, I've gone through so much with these guys. They are bad apples on the team. They're setting bad examples for all the other kids. I can't excuse this. I can't allow them to do this. And then to sit there and take someone's spot that's really legitimately out here busting their hump and working really hard. So, I end up letting them guys go, and they end up going to the competing high school that we played against. And yeah, shoot, man, they did good over there, but I don't care. I really don't care who you are, what star caliber you are. If you got a shitty attitude and you don't want to work hard and you think you're better than everybody else, I got no place for you on my squad. I'd rather have the kid that's a B team player that's out there giving me his all, and he's out there just selling himself out each and every day. I'd rather have that kid. I'd rather have that kid. We ain't getting paid or anything at this level. So, you know what? I want to put in the ones that are out there giving me their all the time. So, if you're watching this and you think you're a star or something like that, hey, man, humble yourself, and be just as hard worker as the guy next to you, no matter what caliber you are. But anyway, so it created a lot of problems with this other coach, and he was in charge of the B team, and me and my guys were in charge of the A team. There's this one in particular time, man. I get word that there's a kid playing on the B team that's not supposed to be. He's not even on the team. No one's ever seen him before. Because while the B team plays on the Wednesdays, we're still practicing. The A team's practicing while they're playing. And it's a home game that day, so they're there. So I go and I have my buddies kind of take on the rest of practice, and I start walking down to the field, and I'm like looking at him like, dude, who is this kid, man? And obviously the kid's not like he's not playing like a B team caliber player. And so I'm trying to get investigated, and I get over and I see some of the kids, and I'm asking them, who is this kid? They're like, I don't know, coach, told us to let so-and-so give him his pads and let him go play. And I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? So I got this one kid, and I feel bad because he's, obviously, he wasn't a good player at all, man, but he still showed up every day. He just wasn't athletically fit, and this other coach just, just thought that it was okay to take his pads and give them to, check this out. This kid that he gives the pads to is the opposing teams, our opposing high school, Palmdale High School, one of their kids who has injured and not supposed to be playing, but they go ahead and suit him up for our game, and he's in there running and scoring touchdowns, dude. I'm like, no. Oh, my gosh, bro. I'm like, this is done. I went out there, pulled him out. I said, what are you doing? And here I am, the head coach. So I'm so pissed, dude. But there's not much I can do. I didn't choose this guy. But now I'm in trouble with the athletic department because they end up finding out about this situation. So now I got the athletic director coming after me. I get called into the athletic director's office, and I have to sit there and explain to him the whole situation. And I'm not in on the whole thing. I don't, and my recommendation was to boot the one coach, and that we'll go ahead and take over the B team because he didn't deserve to be on there, and there wasn't very many games left anyway. So that's basically what happened. Is the guy got fired, I got reprimanded, and there was also another situation that happened that year. I kind of had a bad run at my first year as a head coach, that's for sure, because I'm young, I'm new to coaching. I kind of fell victim to listening to the crowd and allowing the crowd to getting in my head. Not the crowd, but one in particular parent. Now, my offense, we kind of ran like a double wing T, and that offense kind of required a bigger quarterback that could lead block as the ball was pitched out. So I had a good kid for that position. Now, the kid had a strong arm, and he was a good-sized boy. But and he was just super inaccurate. I mean, he couldn't, I don't know. He just could not hit any passes on, because he was just zooming them, and he just had no accuracy whatsoever. But we were trying to work on that and trying to hone in on it. I wasn't trying to rush him into a passing situation. And being that we are running offense, there was no need to really keep, putting him into a situation that's going to hurt his, thoughts or whatever. I mean, you don't want to, upset a kid and then he starts playing horrible and they really can get into a funk, especially if they don't really have the ability. Well, we're playing this one team and they're stuffing our run a lot, so we're really having a rough time pushing the ball. So we're starting to get the pass the ball, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to spread us out a little bit and I guess try to spread out the offense, and then we'll run some more plays running like that. And we were getting a little better, but the ball was still having a hard time. And I mean, obviously, these guys knew we were going to be primarily run anyways because we're just suited that way. If anybody watched film on us, I mean, you're going to know what we're running. So, and we didn't really care because we were pretty good at what we did. The double wing offense has a lot of trickery and stuff like that. And the blocking scheme's way different than normal. But anyhow, so the dad, screaming, pass the ball. And finally, he's breaking me down. And I'm just like, all right, okay, let's just pass the ball. So here we go. He gets back, passes, boom, interception. Oh, my, damn, bro. And I look back and I'm like, I'm like shaking my head. Well, I think it was like another series or two. And then I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and try to pass this shit again. Boom, man, another interception. So now the dad's just going off, and I'm like, man, we're like, dude, what, you want to keep passing? Your son's throwing interceptions. And now he's starting to talk shit. And, for the first time, I lose my bearing. I should never do this. And no coach should ever interact with any fans whatsoever. You just need to have the better sense to tune them out and not let them get you. Well, I didn't do that. I'm, young, out of the Marines, fucking spunky and shit. So, dude, I'm like, turn around and I'm just like, hey, fuck you, man. You got a problem with me? We could take this out to the parking lot. And, we're kind of just exchanging words. And some of the parents that knew me pretty well started kind of, trying to calm him down and push him off away. My coaches were kind of pulling me away because they obviously not trying to I didn't want me to get kicked out of the game. And here I am. I'm losing total. I've lost everything at this point in time. My game plan way out the door. I've let these guys get to me. So that was a big learning experience for me, that game. I learned quickly that you don't interact with your fans, parents, none of them. You got a problem. You want to deal with it. You find the time, and the time is not during the game, right? So that was my fault. Whenever you make a mistake in life or you do something wrong, the best thing is just own it, and then you can move on from it. And that's exactly what I did. Is I learned from that situation, like, oh man, I could have dealt with that far better. So, coaching is tough. It's just very hard. A lot of times parents think that their kid is a star. And that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. You're playing with your kid at home. He's making great catches and doing great things. He comes out to practice with his peers and not doing the exact same thing. I don't know what to say. It's hard to express that part because, when you get to the high school level, parents aren't there for practice. And it's not because the parents don't want to be there. It's just that at the high school level, there's so much going on and the field's so spread out that the parents just aren't there because they kind of more or less would be getting in the way of things. So, a lot of times they're not seeing how their kid's performing Monday through Friday. And then when it comes to game time, they're like, why isn't he playing? Well, sheesh, dude. All week long, he's moped. He's been lackadaisical. He's been sluggish. And here he is, his teammate over here, who is his backup, has been outshining him. So I'm not the kind of guy that just because he's a great person and he's going to play. I need to know that that week he was performing and that when I get into the game, he's going to perform. And it's not just, hey, show up for the game. No, we need you all week long, buddy. So, that's just the way my coaching techniques are. And, some people may agree or not agree, but hey, that's just the way I did things. I'm not a person that believes in playing kids just because they're super athletes. If my kid is good, he'll play. If he's not good, he won't play. And that's just the way it goes. And I'm not going to, one thing about being a coach, and especially now that like my kid's younger and I've gotten to go sit and be, get my chair, sit down and be the parent in the stands. And I've learned a lot. I've learned that, I don't talk crap about coaches anymore because until you walk a mile in someone's shoes, I just don't believe that you have the right or the ability to talk shit about someone. So being that I've been a coach and I know how hard it is to be a coach, I in no way, shape, or form want to talk shit about a coach. And if you do want to talk crap about your kid's coach, I encourage you, go volunteer your time and go be a coach. If not, enjoy being the parent. I mean, that is a luxury that you get to have, is pulling up your chair, sitting down, and just being the parent. Otherwise, like I said, there's always room for more volunteers. I'm currently right now I'm doing my son's pony little. They're like 4, 5, and 6 year olds. But my gosh, at that age, it's like herding cats. But I'm doing it to help these kids and to help them learn. I already know their age and their maturity level that I'm only going to get what I'm going to get. But my goal is hey, teach these little boys to be good ball players. And at the freshman level in high school, and in football and stuff like that, same kind of method at that level is my thing is tuning these guys up so when they go up to JV or go up to varsity, that they're ready for that level and that they know what to do. And it's not that, so when these kids move up to the next levels, these coaches got to spend less time on certain things and they're able to focus on other things. So the younger ages, I encourage you as coaches, remember, it's about teaching them. It's about getting them to learn. It's not necessarily about winning. Winning is fun. I love winning. Trust me, winning is way more fun than losing. But you got to be able to be a good winner and you got to be a good loser, So you got to be able to do both and be humble on both sides because the high of being a winner is different than the low of being a loser in certain cases on the sport. So, anyways, I just want to kind of cut this, I guess, from here. Kind of went out like 34, 35 minutes. I hope you guys been enjoying the show. I just wanted to kind of talk briefly about my life and experiences as coaching. I didn't really do it too much longer after, the second year because, man, I ended up having another kid and school and, gosh, everything that I was doing, it was just a lot to juggle. So, unfortunately, I didn't get to coach, too many more years. But, like I said, I'm kind of getting back into it now that I got a little 6-year-old who's, going through all the ranks of all the sports. So I imagine I probably will get myself back into that kind of world. And, I actually have more time than I did back when I was doing it before. So who knows where I may end up. But I'm not going to lie. I do kind of like being the parent, though, just kind of sitting down and chilling. It is kind of a lot easier, not going to lie. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys hadn't had the chance to subscribe to the YouTube channel, please do. Check me out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all the different platforms that, have podcasts on them. If you guys are just out and about and you just want to put some earplugs in, go check me out over on those platforms. If you guys want to watch these shows, go check me out over on the YouTube side. It's I believe it's at Every Day's a Saturday 365 is the way that you would find me on YouTube. But anyways, thanks again. I hope you guys have a great one. Until next time.